Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Saloon Podcast. I'm your host Mirage, and as usual, I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Burner and Mello, respectively.
Hi.
Hello.
And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about Mello's favorite game, Major Magnet.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is my favorite game. Out of like all time. If you want me to be perfectly honest, it is the game that inspired me to be, well, the artist I am today. And, well, this is the game we'll be talking about. And before we go into any further, we should probably talk about I actually want to talk about the development of this game first.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Which, for those who don't know, this game was made by Pagoda West Games, also known as some of the people who made the unofficial Sonic 2 HD, well, back in 2013 anyway.
And afterwards Sonic Mania.
Yeah.
Afterwards Sonic Mania. Mm-hmm. This was their first game that they created. And, in it was Jared Castle, I believe a level designer for Sonic Mania now, and Tom Fry, the artist who did every single animation in this game.
Yep.
And as well as the art director for, Sonic Mania, and the artist that inspired me the most.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting to see these people who used to work on Sonic actually make their own indie game.
Yeah,
Before even released in Sage, they released in packs, I believe.
Wow. In
And
packs.
when I was around that age, I believe even my aunt, because we actually went to that pack, she was one of the few people who actually got to play the Major Magnet version, where basically you got to put your 3 initials in after being a high schooler.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's like an arcade game. Okay.
Before the official game.
Yeah,
And
because I think
we
they
should
made
probably-
an arcade version.
Yes, there was an arcade version, but we'll talk later. But this is a different version of it, where basically you get to test your score, get to put your 3 initials, and then move it on to the next person, because it was packs.
Yeah.
But anyway, we should probably go on to that story.
Oh yeah, the
So,
story.
How this game came to be, so.
So, regarding the story is actually quite simple. It revolves around the idea of, the main protagonist, Marvin Major, being under the watchful eye of the main antagonist, Colonel Laston, he's got the intention of trying to reverse the poles of the planet. Marvin Major is not aware of this. He's just casually flying through the sky, and then Colonel Laston ends up swiping his cape from him because he realizes that maybe Marvin Major wouldn't be as much of a threat without it, which he isn't as much of a threat, but that's up until he happens to find a magnet in the sewers that he falls in after getting his cape swiped from him. And from there on out, it's up to you to stop, it's up to you to get your cape back. To get the 5 pieces of the cape back, because it splits up into 5 pieces. I think Colonel Laston tears it.
You don't see animation, but he does. It is implied that he does tear it apart.
Yeah, but he rips it up into 5 pieces, and you have to go and grab those 5 pieces again. And Marvin Major ends up
Six
saving
pieces,
the world.
actually.
Oh, 6. Okay. He ends up saving the world without even realizing it too.
Thus making him the world's most unlikely hero.
Exactly.
That's the kind of dumb storytelling that I live for. It's something simple, it gets to the point. It's nothing. It's super lighthearted, and it's just I dig that kind of thing.
Same.
That story's simple, yet it gets to the point. Basically, trying to
Yet
harness it
effective.
back to which is trying to harness back to the old '90s stories where you don't really need much of a story to.
Oh yeah, it's harkening back to the 90s era of games.
Yeah, games
That's
like
the word you were looking for.
games like Rocket Knight Avengers, Rise Star, stuff like that.
Sonic,
And
of
Sonic.
course.
Mario, if you want to go back even further.
Yep.
But those are just some prime examples.
Yeah, prime examples of what this game is trying to aim for. A 90s-esque game that you can play on your phone.
Yeah.
And now that we fell into a manhole, we should probably go to what each level is and their gimmicks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Of each level, starting with World 1, Solenoid Sewers. You'd think you actually start in the top, but it's technically a fake out. But you start in the sewers where you fall off after getting the magnet. And basically, it's just testing grounds, testing you, teaching you small different mechanics, how basically you have to revolve around magnets and basically go to the end goal. Try to go to the end goal, basically. And basically, in each level, there are these hidden bakes that you try to get, and those actually unlock more levels.
Oh, and on the off chance you don't know what a bake is, it's basically pie, I think.
Yes, it's just a pie.
Yeah.
I love the sound effect when you collect. It's like, it's so charming.
I think there's like a little icon or something in the middle of the pie.
Yeah, there is an icon. It's not on the brown part of the pie. It's on like the crust of the pie.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a major man. It's icon.
Oh, okay. That's
But-
yeah, I thought that.
But yeah, and the gimmick. Sorry, go.
So essentially, those things are like the tapes in both Crash 4 and Celeste.
In a way, or the star coins in Mario, if you
Right.
also want to go that way as well.
Yeah.
There's only one in every stage. And basically, the gimmick of World 1 is, besides trying not to fall in the water, is basically testing yourself out. Trying to see what works, trying to see what doesn't work. Because in this game, you have no lives. So you can just keep on trying over and over again.
Yeah, unless I think you're playing the arcade version.
The arcade version you have, depending on what stage gives you, you can have 3 to 5 lives.
Yeah. Because I remember the
basic-
arcade version does that differently.
Yes, it does that. And also the color palettes are also different, depending.
Oh yeah,
Because
that
in the
too.
But yeah, World 1 Solenoid Sewers. It's basically your standard World 1 testing out your grounds. World 2, which I believe, if I remember correctly, it's Flux Factory. Basically, the main gimmick of this stage is now there's magnets that move in a set pattern that they'll move left to right, up or down. You can even move diagonally as well. And there are also these green, what they're called switches, that if you revolve around them once, they open a door. And when they open the door, it's on a timer, so they go on a mad dash to go where that door is. Thankfully, when you open the door, it does a sound effect and it'll also show where the door is. As in, like, it'll show arrows to where you have to go.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
A very specific example here, but it kind of reminds me the time switches in Sandopolis Zone in Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Yeah.
And that is quite similar to it, actually. And basically, where this level takes place, it actually takes place inside of a factory where a lot of magnets are being produced.
Yeah.
Then
Which
we
is
go
why
into
it's
World...
called Flux Factory, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Then we go into World 3, also known as the first world where you actually get introduced to Gus, which is Proton Pond, basically the water level of the game.
Yeah.
And just like
basically.
water levels, you are slowed down when you get inside it. So that's the gimmick, is that you're slowed down, your boost is also not as powerful.
The labyrinth zone of Major Magnet.
Dun, dun,
Basically.
dun, 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 dun.
Da, 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 da. But yep, that's basically it. But the main gimmick as well is that there are, starting from here on out, is certain levels you'll have Gus helping you out. In this case, he'll be in a submarine where basically you'll tap on him and basically move your finger to go the direction he wants to go in.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting, and that's unfortunately as far as I've played, because fun fact, although I know a lot about the game, I've actually never beaten the game,
Yeah.
which is funny, but I do know a lot about the game.
Yeah.
So coming up
Yeah.
next is World 4, Curie Cryostat, which is the ice level of the game, so ice physics. Which you think, how would it work on a physics-based game? Well, the more you slide, the faster you go. And basically, because there are ramps, if you revolve yourself around faster on the node, you can actually fling yourself very far. And also in this gimmick as well, there are these magnets that will freeze. So you have to look at how many times you have to tap it. I believe it was 5 or 6 times before you break it and use the magnet.
I think the frozen states in Crest Garden Zone in Sonic Mania. Yes, I know.
I would say that.
I know I'm bringing up a lot of Sonic comparisons right now, but it's like it just goes to show that these games are more alike than one would initially think.
Gonna say, to be fair, Major Magnet was made by people who worked on a
Love
Sonic fan. Yeah, love
Yeah.
Sonic and made a Sonic fan game, and eventually went on to work on Mania. So it's no
Right.
wonder why it has shares so many similarities with Sonic.
Yeah.
And it's all in all the reason more like more why I love this game a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but next up, World 5, also known as my favorite level in the game. Well, in terms of
Aesthetics.
actually how its aesthetics is what's it called? Solenoid. It's not solenoid. It's solar spaceport. That's what it is. Solar spaceport.
Cool.
And basically, this level actually takes place outside of a rocket. Basically, it basically trying to go inside the rocket, trying to infiltrate it. And basically, this level is basically the lava level of the game, which
The
you
lava?
wouldn't really expect. Because in the background you see the rocket, but you see different types of plants that pour out lava.
Oh wow.
And that's the main gimmick, and also another gimmick as well. There are these nodes that have X on them instead, and they kind of have this flash that looks like they've been burned.
Hmm.
And
Wait,
basically that introduces Gus again, where now he's used as a jetpack,
Oh wow.
and you have to tap those nodes to go upwards.
Oh, nodes or nodes?
Nodes.
Nodes.
NODE.
What are those exactly?
Those are basically the
What
the
are-
magnets that you revolve around. Basically, those are called nodes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what they were at first. Okay, I didn't know what to call them. I just called them magnets.
Yep, that's also another way you call that. But yeah, that's the level. That's basically the level itself. Is you're just trying to go into it, trying to go into the rocket, and all around, despite it being not as simple, very simplistic, it is one I enjoyed the most because of it.
Yeah.
The fire-breathing plants are definitely a highlight for me, just from the idea alone.
That's
And-
actually cool.
And the last one, which is I believe Gaussian Galaxy, is where you actually are in the ship and you're
Yeah.
in space. And basically, the main gimmick of this is that you do like gravity flipping,
Yeah.
because that's the whole point of this level. You have to
Death
flip
egg moment.
gravity.
Death egg moment.
Yeah, basically, you have to flip gravity. There's also lasers that will try to shoot you.
Lasers that try to shoot you.
Yeah, there's lasers trying to shoot you. There are patterns that you have to wait for. I believe at one point there's even, I believe a missile trying to home in on you, so you have to beat the level as fast as you can.
That's the one thing you can't make a Sonic comparison with.
Even though this, I haven't played it, I feel like this level reminds me more of VVVVV.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could see that.
Oh yeah, that game. I keep forgetting about VVVVVV.
Because with the whole gravity flipping gimmick, and like there's a lot of traps waiting in line. That's immediately what I thought of, even though I haven't played the game yet.
Huh.
And basically after that, you have the final level, which is the boss. And
Ooh.
I've actually been talking to someone who actually played the game, so I kind of know what the boss is about-ish. Is basically where you're trying to fight it, and you also have to try to flip gravity, try to ram against Marvin Major.
Oh,
Basically do all these wacky things like trying to shoot electricity, trying to shoot him,
interesting.
Yeah,
basically.
that fight sounds absolutely hectic.
Yeah, basically, because he's trying to switch the
Does-
polars, and all he wants is his cape back. And speaking of the capes, because I probably didn't gloss over it, they're scattered through every single stage. I believe they're stripped into 6 pieces, one for each level, and you have to find it randomly because it's randomly in one of those levels.
Yeah.
And basically, it determines if you get a good or bad ending. If you get the bad ending, he goes down without the cape. I believe he goes down with the magnet. But if you
Yeah.
get the cape, he basically falls down with the cape, as he did in the intro.
Yeah. But not only does he get the cape back, he also keeps the magnet too, so he has both the cape and the magnet.
Yes.
Oh, so that ends well.
It also makes me wish that they made a sequel where you could play with both the cape and the magnet.
It's like I had a concept for it where basically, the magnet, he can use it like as a dash, because he can actually dash by himself, and basically he can kind of use it as a parachute if he needs to slow himself down.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Basically. But I've talked about the gimmicks. We talked about the gimmick stuff. We should talk about the music.
Yeah.
Guys, oh boy, the music.
Just want to say this right now, the music's made by T-Lopes, in the off chance you didn't know that already. Person responsible for Mania's music.
And
for
also,
those who's not familiar with Sonic Mania or Sonic 2 HD or anything like that, or just like T-Lop's works in general. But yeah, he's the one responsible for Mania's OST and Sonic 2 HD's OST. Not anymore though, because he got replaced with like Tony Laze and eventually someone else. But yeah,
let's just say I've only heard a couple pieces of this OST so far, but the ones that I have heard are absolute bangers. They are so well composed.
there isn't a single bad song in the OST at all,
No, really
and
isn't.
there never will
And-
be with T-Lopes.
And basically, in an interview, he said this was the game that basically, in his mind, started it all for his trying to take it all seriously.
Oh,
So this was because he has worked on games before, but this is the game itself that he said that really wanted him to start composing.
wow.
And for the
So
songs,
There you go.
songs I heard, I'd say he did a pretty bang up job.
That's
He did.
insane.
he really, really did, and the
Whoa.
music in the game is incredible, and I love it to death.
It's
like one of the
remarkable.
Some of the first OSTs I've ever listened to.
From the beginning track to just like the ending, the game is great. Even like the shop for Gus is amazing.
It's basically Latin, except with a spacey twist, and I love it.
Yeah, it's got like a bit of techno mixed in there. And it's really good.
Now, despite games, being this good, no game is perfect, and
Oh, absolutely not.
I do have some gripes with it that unfortunately shouldn't be the case. For one, difficulty spike. Starting with World 3, the difficulty goes way up because, it's a phone game. And you know what phone games also try to do? Microtransactions. Thankfully, you don't need the microtransactions to actually beat the game because you can grind to get Magnorbs, but it is there if you need it, right? But you don't need to. The one thing I did get though was the duplicated, where you basically get double the amount of Magnorbs for every stage. For basically, you have it forever, basically,
Yeah.
which is fine.
Yeah, like by the looks of things, like Major Magnet is not really that in terms of a mobile game. Like certain other mobile
Oh no,
games,
not at all.
other mobile games of this variety would have energy costs. They would not let you play the game unless you had this certain amount of energy, or they would have you force you to pay lots and lots of money in order to even like finish the game. Like thankfully,
Yeah.
by the looks of things, this game is not that predatory, which is always good.
Yeah. That's very good, actually. So, this game doesn't seem to screw you over that much. I've
No.
seen games that are worse when it comes to this aspect. I think, I want to say it, like, what's it called? Mario Kart World Tour was, like, pretty bad when it came to its, like, microtransactions and stuff.
Oh yeah, Mario Kart Tour is notorious for bad gacha system.
Yeah, that's a good example of, like, really bad microtransactions.
But Major Magnet got that right.
Yeah. So, Major Magnet's a game I'd say that's nearly perfect.
Nearly. The only thing, though, is that the problem with the game itself, unfortunately, is that it did not get as much publicity as the developers hoped for, and thus that was its own
Yeah.
downfall. A lot of people
Unfortunately.
do not know about it. This is why, a lot of people haven't even heard of the game, which makes me completely upset.
However, I think to an extent, that could also have something to do with the fact that they didn't advertise it too much.
No, there's only 2 trailers for it entirely.
Yeah, I was gonna say they don't really have that many trailers. They didn't like advertise the crud out of it. I don't know what they were expecting. I feel like maybe their expectations for Major Magnet might have been a bit too high if they were hoping this to really get that much traction.
Yeah,
But
and follow-up question: did this ever get a version released outside of mobile phones?
no,
No, it did not. It was only stuck to mobile phones, specifically iOS. It was only on iOS, and only the arcade version came out on iOS and Android. I believe, despite them saying that it did come out, I've tried to research on it. I believe the arcade version came out on Android. The full game never appeared on iOS, on Android. Sorry, as far as I'm aware.
I feel
Which is a total shame.
I feel like this game would have done better if it got a version released on PC and potentially on consoles too.
Steam would have been a perfect choice for it. But there's only one problem with that.
How are we gonna control it?
Yeah.
For Steam, I imagine you'd probably be able to use your mouse.
Yeah, Steam, I feel like mouse would be no problem, but if it's for consoles, I feel like that would
Switch
be an
would be
issue.
tap screen.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't know about Xbox and PS.
Yeah, that might
Yeah.
be. Oh wait, PS4 has the little the thing in the middle, like the little the button, like the touch button in the middle,
Yeah,
or
but
whatever it's called. It's weird, but you could probably use that.
probably, but there is still Xbox, so
No, I was talking about PS4.
I know.
Oh, you said there's still Xbox. Oh yeah, then in that case that might be a problem because for Xbox I can't think of anything. Maybe I honestly don't even know. I thought up of a solution for everything except Xbox. Oh well.
But if this game ever does get a revitalization one of these days, which
It needs one.
it should, I was
It's
not
in desperate need of like a revival. I'm not even joking. Not only should they make a sequel, but I think they should bring back the first one and try to rework it in a way that's compatible with consoles.
and of course, well, at the very least, PC. So
Yeah, if they're not gonna do it with consoles, at the very least do it with PC. And if it sells well, they should probably do maybe like a physical copy for the game.
Hmm.
You know, something like that. That'd be
Something like
nice.
that.
Be
Mhm.
real
That's
nice.
But probably to end it, all in all, this game itself is a game dear and close to my heart. And despite its flaws, I
And
feel like
despite
the
it being
flaws
a
are
mobile game, it's
mobile game.
incredible.
It's incredible. The music is interstellar. The graphics as well look like straight out of a game you can play on the Sega Saturn.
Yeah. Well, if it
And-
wasn't as high definition as it is, you'd probably be playing it on the Sega Saturn.
Probably. But it's just, to me, it's a game that inspired me a lot to be the artist I am today. And because of it, I feel like I give this game probably too much praise, but I give it for a good reason, in my opinion. And if
Oh,
you haven't
yeah.
heard of it, I don't blame you. It is a very obscure game, and
Incredibly.
if you ever, I would say, if you ever want to get into art or animation, or even music, really, I would recommend at least checking out this game out, at least in terms of looking stuff up, seeing how stuff was made, because you can even try to find some concept art pieces as well. If you type in Major Magnet, you're bound to see a concept art piece.
yeah, it's very much worth your time. But speaking of time, I believe we're just about out of it for this episode.
Oops.
Yeah, we I think we covered just about everything anyways that we need to cover.
Yeah,
Overall, Major Magnet is a game that you should definitely, well, not play, but look into since it's not available anymore. I got
Yeah,
pulled
it's a-
out.
It's a game to check out, at least.
Yeah, check out if you can't play it. Actually, no, you can't at all. But it's a game worth checking out and getting
And
yourself
doing
invested
research
in.
on.
Yeah, getting yourself invested into. It is easily worth it.
These two made it easy for me, so there you go.
Yeah.
If not, the music is there out. T-Lopes did officially post it on his YouTube channel, so you can find the music.
Yes.
Yeah. You can find the OST at least, but
Just in the Flux Factory, it's so good.
yeah.
Also known as Retro Synchro.
Yep. But with that being said, we hope you enjoyed this episode of the Saloon Podcast, and we'll see you next time when we have a different topic to discuss. We'll think of what we'll talk about next. But until then, we'll see ya.
Fare thee well.
Wacky Philip Warplane Tube Man, bye!